Uh, Good evening, all of you.
Good evening, sir.
So today we'll start off with as discussed previously, we'll start off with your organic chemistry today. Okay. So from today onwards, okay, we'll just start off with this very major topic of your organic chemistry. Fine. So in your junior classes, in class 9, 10, okay. So I think all of us have defined this organic compounds, right? Okay, so what do you mean by organic compounds? Compounds which are mostly made up of carbon and hydrogen. Okay, organic compounds means carbon has to be present. Okay, one of the constituents has to be a carbon atom. Okay, now why there is a separate branch of organic chemistry? Okay, why there is a separate branch of organic chemistry? Why? What uh, peculiar property of carbon atom makes this organic chemistry so important? Okay, so let us see. Now, in previous chapter, we have discussed about the valency of carbon atom. Okay, we have discussed about the valency of carbon atom. What is the valency of carbon atom? It is tetravalent. Carbon can be bonded to other carbon atoms, okay, by four bonds. Okay, now out of all the major elements, carbon possesses the unique property of catenation. It possesses the unique property of catenation. So what do you mean by catenation? It is the ability of carbon atom. Okay, catenation is defined as the ability of a carbon atom, okay, to form bonds with itself. Okay, to form bonds with itself and other elements. And other elements. Okay, so this unique property of carbon atom to form a bond with one another is known as a catenation. Now, what is the valency of carbon atom? The valency of carbon atom is 4. Remember, right? Okay, so carbon, it possesses 4 bonds like this. So due to this catenation property, carbon can be linked to another carbon atom. Carbon can be linked to another carbon atom like this, provided the valency of each carbon atom should be 4. So look at this, 1 2 3 4. Look at this carbon, 1 2 3 4. Okay, so the 4 carbon atoms can be joined to each other in a linear way like this. It can form long chain of carbon atoms. Not only that, okay, the carbon atoms, okay, it can form a linear chain as well as a branched chain like this. It can also form branches like this. The same number of carbon atoms can be arranged in many ways. It can form a linear chain like this. It can form branches like this, right? Or it can also form closed ring compounds like this. It can also form closed ring compounds, like ring compounds. Okay, so there are different ways in which the carbon atoms can be linked to one another, right? So it is due to this unique property of carbon atom that we have a vast majority of organic compounds, because the carbon atoms can be linked to each other in different ways, giving rise to a large number of organic compounds. So it gives rise to a large number of organic compounds. That is why the organic compounds are so huge in number. Why? Because carbon has a unique ability to form a bond with itself in many ways, like giving rise to your straight chain compounds, giving rise to your branches, or giving rise to your cyclic compounds like this. Okay, so this is the reason for the existence of a large number of organic compounds. That is why we have a separate branch of chemistry to understand the properties of carbon compounds, which is known as your organic chemistry. Okay, so now we come to know that the organic compounds, the carbon atoms can be linked to each other in different ways, right? Okay, so now let us try to classify the carbon atoms or the carbon compounds. Okay, so let us try to classify the types of carbon compounds. So let us try to classify it. Okay, classification. Classification of organic compounds. So let us now start off with your classification of organic compounds. Okay, so number one classification of organic compounds will be a straight chain, straight chain compounds, okay, or open chain, straight chain or open chain, okay. So these are also known as alicyclic or aliphatic compounds. Aliphatic compounds, okay, straight chain or instead of writing straight chain, okay, so straight chain would be limited. So you just write an open chain, not straight chain, open chain, huh? This will be more appropriate. Open chain or your aliphatic compounds, open chain or your aliphatic compounds. Open chain or your aliphatic. So what do you mean by this aliphatic compounds? The compounds where the first and last carbon atoms are not connected to each other, right? And as an open chain, the ends are open, they are not closed, right? Okay, for example, say I can draw this. Say suppose I have this. Okay, so just this is an open chain. The first and the last carbon atoms, they are not joined to each other. So I'll satisfy the requirement by placing hydrogen out here, Okay, so there are hydrogens out here. So there is an aliphatic compound or a open chain. Open chain means the first and the last carbon atoms are not connected to each other. Okay, there is no bond between the first and the last carbon atom. So इसमें आएगा तुम्हारा in this particular segment both a straight chain as well as a branched chain. Okay, so they can be branched as well. For example, if I give you this, so this is also an aliphatic compound. This is also an aliphatic compound. So the first and the last carbon atoms, this first and the last carbon atoms are not bonded to each other, right? So these are as a open chain or aliphatic compounds. Okay, number one category. So number two category are known as cyclic compounds. So obviously, what do you mean by cyclic compounds? Means closed chain. Cyclic compounds means it can be closed chain. Okay, cyclic compounds, right? Okay. So cyclic compounds, cyclic compounds are again of two categories. Okay, so cyclic compounds, it can be of two types. So what are the two types? Number one is known as alicyclic compounds, and number B is known as aromatic compounds, right? Okay, so alicyclic means it is a cyclic compound but having properties similar to aliphatic compounds, right? So alicyclic means is a cyclic compound. It is a cyclic compound but having properties. It is a cyclic compound having properties similar to aliphatic compounds. Okay, so they are cyclic, but properties are similar to aliphatic compounds. So what comes under this category? Say we have a carbon atom connected to another carbon atom like this. Okay, so the valency should again be 4a. So here I'll place hydrogen. So it's a cyclic compound. You see cyclic compound means closed ring. But yes, this has properties similar to aliphatic compounds. It's known as alicyclic. Okay. So aromatic compounds, okay. So aromatic compounds are cyclic compounds and those possesses unique properties different from aliphatic compounds. Okay, so aromatic compounds में क्या क्या आएगा तुम्हारा? Very famous, what will come? Benzene. It's an aromatic compound. Okay, so we shall be studying in details what do you mean by aromatic compound later. So this is the major classification of organic compounds. Okay, open chain, aliphatic, right? Cyclic compounds, two categories, alicyclic. Alicyclic means closed but having properties similar to aliphatic. Next is aromatic, means they possesses a unique set of properties different from the aliphatic compounds. Okay, so they have their own set of properties. Okay, they have their own set of properties. Okay, fine. Now today I'll just start off with here. I'll just start off with here. Uh, Nomenclature part. I'll just start. I'll just start off with your nomenclature part. Okay, so I think it's done in your school already. So IUPAC system of nomenclature of organic compounds. Okay. Okay. IUPAC system of nomenclature. Okay, so we know the full form of IUPAC. What does it mean? International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. Okay, so there is a system. Since there are a large number of organic compounds, it is not possible to remember the name. There are millions of organic compounds, lakhs of organic compounds. Is it possible? No. So the scientist has devised a systematic method to name the organic compounds, and this method is followed internationally. It's not that one country will follow one method, another country will follow another method. Yes, it's a scientific community. Okay, it's a universal community. So that is why the name is here International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. Now, so when we name ourselves, okay, when we name ourselves, for example, say, so as example, I'll take my example. Okay, so I'll name myself as Mr. Right. So if you belong to another gender, Miss, Mrs., whatever. So this is known as a prefix which occurs before the name. It's known as a prefix, before. Okay. Prasanna. This is my name. Okay. Followed by my title. This comes after the name. It's known as a suffix. So the name is made up of many parts like this. Sometimes we have a middle name as well. Right, we have a middle name as well. Right? So prefix, we have a name, sometimes we have a middle name followed by a surname or a suffix. Right? So do we write down Mr. at the back, this title at the front, name at the middle? No. Do we write that? No. There's a way, na? There's a systematic way of writing the name as well, right? Mr. So and so, Miss so and so. So similarly, organic compounds, in order to name organic compounds, we need to follow some set of rules. Okay. So the IUPAC name, actually the IUPAC name, it is composed of three different parts. What is it composed of? It is composed of prefix, plus a word root, fine, plus suffix. And suffix again are of two types. What are the two types? Primary and secondary. Okay, so the IUPAC name is made up of three parts: prefix, word root, suffix. And suffix are of two types. What are the two types of suffix here? Primary suffix and a secondary suffix. Now, just pay attention. We shall go in details. Okay, we shall understand in details each of these terms. So what does this mean? Fine. Okay. So let us start with a word root. Okay, let us start with a word root. Okay. So any one of you, any idea what does a word root mean? What is a word root? So word root, it indicates the length of the parent chain. Okay, it is the basic unit of the name. Okay, it is the basic unit of the name. Okay, it depends upon the number of carbon atoms. Okay. Okay, so word root, it is the basic unit of the name. It depends. What does it depend upon? It depends upon the number of carbon atoms. It depends upon the number of carbon atoms. Okay, and the word root, remember, it is derived from the longest continuous chain. It is derived from the longest continuous chain of carbon atom. It is derived from the longest continuous chain of carbon atom. Okay, so I'm explaining, don't worry. I'll explain one by one. Okay, what does this mean? Let us see now. Okay, so suppose in a carbon atom, in an organic compound, if there is only one carbon atom, so what will be the word root? Word root will be meth, METH, right? So if there are two carbon atoms in the longest chain, the word root will be it. If similarly there are three carbon atoms, the word root will be prop. Meth, eth, prop. If there are four carbon atoms, yes. Bute,
Bute.
Dude.
bute. Okay. If there are five carbon atoms, yes. You all seem
Pen.
to know this.
And
Pent, very good. If there are six carbon atoms, hex. Okay. If there are seven carbon atoms, hept. Okay, and if there are 8 carbon atom, it will be oct. Similarly, 9 carbon atom, non. There are 10 carbon atom, it will be dec. DEC. So the word root is derived from the longest continuous chain of carbon atoms. It is derived from the longest continuous chain of carbon atoms. So we'll discuss this. What does this mean? Later on, there are some again set of rules. There are again some set of rules to determine the longest continuous chain of carbon atoms. Okay. So for the time being, you remember this. Fine. So word root. Okay, word root is done. So the word root is derived from the longest continuous chain of carbon atoms, and obviously it depends upon the number of carbon atoms. So if any organic compound, say if the name starts from say hex, in hex means yes, longest chain of carbon atom contains 6 carbon atoms. So hex. Pent means punch. Okay. So number one has been done with. Okay, now let us move towards the prefix suffix part. Let us move towards the suffix. So how many types of suffixes are there? There are two suffixes. Say, what are the two suffixes? One is here primary suffix and the other one is here secondary suffix. So let us discuss this importance of this one by one. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to deal with this primary suffix. I'm going to deal with this primary suffix. Okay. So what does the primary suffix indicate? It indicates the
Depends upon the number of shadowed.
It indicates the nature of, okay, so it would be great if you could just mute yourselves. It indicates the nature of a carbon-carbon bond. It indicates the nature of a carbon-carbon bond. For example, if the carbon atoms are only bonded by a single bond like this, right? So what is the primary suffix? Which primary suffix do we use? Yes, tell me, guys.
In.
In. Excellent. So you all seem to know this. So we use in. So whenever you see the prefix, whenever you see the suffix in, it indicates that that compound only contains a single bond. Okay. Similarly, if it is bonded by a double bond, then what is the
In.
primary suffix? In. Excellent. In. Okay. Now, similarly, if the carbon atoms are bonded by a triple
YNE.
bond, then wine. Yes, Y-N-E-A.
I'm.
Wine or ein, whatever. Okay, you can pronounce in any way you like. Okay, ein, wine, what? Okay. And if there is an alkyl group, if there is an alkyl group, R, okay, we use the primary suffix YL. Okay, so what do you mean by this alkyl group? What do you mean by this alkyl group? So I'm just rubbing this, huh? Okay, so what do you mean by this alkyl group? Any idea, guys? Alkyl group? Now see, okay, so we have a class of compounds which are known as alkanes. Alkanes means ANE means alkanes are hydrocarbons containing
Single
carbon-carbon
bond.
single bond. Okay, so the general formula of alkane is CnH2n plus 2. This is the general formula. For example, if there is one carbon atom, the first member of alkane series is CH4. If you put the value of n equals to 2, we get C2H6. Okay, so if I draw the structure, there will be a single bond like this. If I put n equals to 3, it will be C3H8. So I'll draw in this way CH3, CH2, CH3. So these are the alkanes. Okay, methane. Yes. Two carbon atom. What is the word root? Eth. Carbon carbon single bond. Ethane. Three carbon atom. What is the word root? Prop. Single bond. Propane. Right. Now from all this, now what am I going to do? I'm going to remove a hydrogen atom. I'm going to remove a hydrogen atom. So after the hydrogen atom is removed, I'll just write down the remaining part as CH3. What does this dash indicate? It indicates that there is no atom out here. However, the valency of carbon is still 4. 3 plus 1, 4. So if I remove one hydrogen from here, it will be C2H5. Here it will be C3H7. So the fragment which is obtained, okay, the fragment or the part which is obtained after we remove a hydrogen atom from alkanes, these are known as a alkyl group, which is represented by R. General formula is R. So R can be anything. It can be CH3, C2H5, C3. So methane ka alkyl group methyl, methyl. One
Ethyl.
carbon atom meth, alkyl group YL. Two carbon atom eth, YL, ethyl. Three carbon atom prop, alkyl group propyl. Okay. So alkyl group means alkanes say you remove one hydrogen, one hydrogen short of alkanes. What will be the general formula of alkyl group then? One hydrogen less than alkane. It will be
CnH2n
CnH.
plus 1.
Very good, excellent. One hydrogen less, so it will be CnH2n plus 1. It will be CnH2n plus 1. So this is here what secondary primary suffix. Yes, this is a primary suffix. Fine. Okay.
वाइफाई छ नि त अहिले चाहियो भने वाइफाई छ
So I'm just rubbing this. Okay, I'm just rubbing this. So you just note down a thing or two out here. Okay. Achha. Now let us move towards hey, I'm getting disturbed. Please mute yourselves. Please, 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 please mute yourselves. Okay, so next is a secondary suffix. Secondary suffix. Okay. Secondary suffix. So what is a secondary suffix? What does it indicate? Okay, what is a secondary suffix? Now, a secondary suffix, it indicates the nature of functional grouping. It indicates the nature of functional group. What is a functional group, by the way? What is a functional group? What do you mean by a functional group? Achha. So I'll just one simple question. Okay. How do we know, say, Virat Kohli as a person? He's an artist. What? He's a teacher. He's a footballer. Who is he? Virat Kohli? He's a cricketer. Yes, we know him by his profession. We know Amitabh Bachchan as an actor. Right. Is it so? Yes.
Yes,
So,
sir.
similarly, organic compounds may, there are some atoms, a group of atoms. There are some atoms, a group of atoms that characterizes the property of a particular compound. Okay. So there are some atoms, a group of atoms, which are responsible for the characteristic property of a compound. And these atoms, a group of atoms, which determines these atoms, or group of atoms, which determines the characteristic property of a compound, which characterizes a compound, are known as a what? Functional group. Right? They are known as a functional group. Okay. So what are the functional groups? Okay, let us see. For example, alcohols. Right? Alcohols may, okay, for example, in case of alcohols, okay, so I'll just write on the structure as well. And so I'll just write on the secondary suffix as well. Okay, so what is the structure of alcohol groups? The groups which contains an OH group. These class of compounds, the class of compounds which contains an OH group as a functional group belongs to the category of alcohols, right? And whenever OH group is present, okay, what do we use the secondary suffix? We use OL, all. For example, methanol. Methanol. OL, methanol means what is the functional group present? OH. All those class of compounds where OH group is present belong to this alcohol group. Okay, alcohol. Fine. Number one. So number two, aldehydes. So aldehydes are a class of compounds which contains this functional group CHO. So oxygen is divalent, so double bond O, carbon, okay, one hydrogen, CHO. Right? So whenever aldehydes are present, what is the secondary suffix we use? Al. So you should remember this, right? Okay. Similarly, we have ketone. Ketone means which possesses this functional group C double bond O. So what is the secondary suffix we use? We use on. ONE. Okay. Similarly, we have nitrile. Okay. Nitrile means the class of compounds which possesses this CN group. Right? So secondary suffix we name it as nitrile only. We name it as nitrile only. Okay. Fine. So next we have carboxylic acid. So what is the functional group? Yes, tell me. C double bond O OH, COOH. Okay, secondary suffix oic acid. Okay, next is your acid amide. Acid amide. So functional group C double bond O NH2. So what is the secondary suffix we use? We use the secondary suffix amide. AMID, amide. Okay, so next we have acid chloride. Acid chloride is C double bond O Cl. So what is the secondary suffix? Oil chloride. Oil chloride. Okay. So next we have esters. C double bond O and one more O. So secondary suffix O8. So at this levels, you should be able to recognize the functional groups, right? From the structure, OH, alcohol, OL. नाम के पीछे OL. Aldehyde, CHO, secondary suffix al. Ketone, C double bond O, suffix ONE. Nitrile, C triple bond N, nitrile बोलेंगे. Carboxylic acid, C double bond OH, oic acid. Acid amide, C double bond O, NH2, amide बोलेंगे. Acid chloride, COCl, oil chloride. And ester C double bond O, we call it as secondary suffix O8. We use the secondary suffix O8. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Now, please note down a thing that, okay, so please note, write down this, okay. So write down the terminal E, the terminal E of the primary suffix is dropped if the secondary suffix begins with a vowel. Okay, if the secondary suffix begins with a vowel or Y. vowel or a Y. Now I'll give you some examples. Okay, I'll just give you some examples. Okay, simple example. Fine. Okay. Fine. So what is the word root? What is the word? Longest chain contains 3 carbon atom. Word
Prop.
root is
prop,
prop. What is the nature of carbon-carbon bond?
It's a single
Single
alkane.
single,
in. So the name is propane. Simplest, huh? I'll give you many examples, don't worry. For example, now if I remove this CH3 and if I have OH group out here, right? What is the functional group, guys? What is the functional group? OH means alcohol.
alcohol,
What is the word root? 2 carbon atoms. Yes, tell me. Eth, carbon-carbon single bond in, right? Carbon-carbon single bond in. Functional group OH means all. Now the secondary
Ethanol.
suffix begins with a vowel. The secondary suffix begins with a vowel. So in case the secondary suffix begins with a vowel, the terminal E of the primary suffix should be dropped. So it will not be ethanol. Rather, if after dropping this E, the complete IUPAC name would be ethanol. It's not ethanol, it's ethanol. Got it? So note down this thing that the terminal E of the primary suffix is dropped if the secondary suffix begins with a vowel or Y. Okay, so for the timing, you should know this. Eh? What are the functional groups? Okay, what are the functional groups? Fine. Okay, so I think till here it's clear. So till now we have studied word root. What is the word root? We know. We know what is the primary suffix. We know what is the secondary suffix. We also came to know what is a functional group while discussing secondary suffix. Okay. So next, so what is now remaining? Prefix. Okay, now prefix. Eh? So what is a prefix? Eh? Okay, so prefix means there are some groups. Okay, there are some groups. There are some groups. What type of groups? Say halides. Okay, what are the types of groups? Say halides. Say fluorine, chlorine, say NO2, say alkyl group, etc. Okay, which are not treated as which are not treated as functional group, but rather as substituents, but rather as substituents. Okay, so there are some groups which are known as a functional group, but there are also some groups which are not treated as functional groups. They are treated as substituents. So this prefix actually it indicates the nature of substituent. The prefix it indicates the nature of substituents. Okay. So for example, if I have if, what is the prefix used? Fluoro. Okay, we have Cl, chloro, we have bromo, iodo, Okay, we have NO2, nitro. So alkyl group one is the methyl, ethyl, we know that. Okay, methyl, ethyl. If I have a CH3, we know the name methyl. Fine. Now just pay attention for a minute. Just pay attention for a minute. Okay, just pay attention for a minute. Fine. Now it might happen that an organic compound may contain more than one functional group like this. So how many functional groups do we see out here? How many functional groups do you see? Yes, I see an aldehyde group and I see an OH group. Both of these are functional group. Right. So listen very carefully. So don't worry which will I treat as a functional group. I shall teach this in the next class. So just remember, in case an organic compound contains more than one functional group, then out of these two, one will be treated as the functional group, primary functional group, and the other functional group will now be treated as a substituent. Again, if an organic compound contains more than one functional group or say two functional groups, then out of these, one will be treated as a main functional group, which will be treated, I shall speak in the next class. Okay, one will be treated as a functional group, but the other one will be treated as a substituent. Don't get confused, दो फंक्शनल ग्रुप है, सो एक को हम लोग फंक्शनल ग्रुप पकड़ेंगे, दूसरों को हम लोग सब्स्टिट्यूएंट के हिसाब से ले लेंगे, right? So which one will be treated as a functional group? I shall just give you the idea in the next class. Okay. So when OH, say suppose यहाँ पर if OH is treated as a substituent, if we take OH as a substituent, when it was treated as a functional group, suffix may OL. But if OH is treated as a substituent, okay, we use before the word prefix, so it will be hydroxy. It will be named as a hydroxy. Okay, if CHO is treated as a substituent, formyl. If CO is treated as a substituent, oxo. Okay, so we have to remember all of these, we have to remember all of these, okay. If CN is treated as a substituent, cyano. If COCl is treated as a substituent, chloroformyl. We have to remember all these, we have to remember all these. Okay, so the list is very long. If COH is treated as a substituent, carboxy. Okay, you just go through here, NCERT or whichever book you follow. Thing is that what am I writing? Okay, so when only one functional group is present, we don't have any problem. We write down the suffix. But if more than one functional group is present, then one will be treated as a functional group, of course, but the other will be treated as a substituent. So the one which we treat as a substituent, we must name them as a prefix. So when these functional groups are treated as a substituent, what are the prefixes? So if OH is treated as a substituent, hydroxy. If CHO, formyl. If CO, oxo. CN, cyano. Chloroformyl, carboxy, and so on. Got it? So yes, now we have studied in details about the complete system of naming. So from tomorrow onwards, we shall take some peculiar examples. We shall discuss the set of rules. How do we choose a functional group? How do we choose a parent chain? How do we name? How do we number? Substituent, kaise number karenge? We shall be discussing all of those. Okay. So today I shall just limit my discussions till here.